Hello everyone. In the previous video, we learnt about Bimbisara, the king who started the first imperial dynasty of Magadh Empire, the Haryanka dynasty. Although the Brihadrata dynasty ruled before the Haryanka dynasty, it is considered as mythical as no proven records have been found. After the death of Udaybhadra, the kingdom of Magadh declined rapidly and was replaced by the Shishunaga dynasty, which took over in 413 BC. However, the Shishunaga dynasty did not last for more than 50 years. In this video, we will learn about the reasons for their short duration of rule, how did they start their rule, and what led to their downfall. Before we learn about the rise of Shishunaga dynasty, let us first go through the latter half of Haryanka dynasty. According to the Buddhist text Mahavamsha, Ajatashatru was also murdered in 461 BC by his impatient son Udaybhadra. Udaybhadra ruled for the next 16 years, during which he moved his capital to Patliputra. He was again murdered by his own son Aniruddha, and the family tradition of parricides, that is killing of their own parent, continued up until the second generation after Aniruddha, the last king of Haryanka dynasty, Nagadasaka. Due to these continuous and ridiculous events of internal family bloodshed, the citizens or the common people of the kingdom were angered. The citizens deposed the last ruler of that dynasty, Nagadasaka, and chose the most qualified official of that kingdom, Shishunaga, as their king. Shishunaga was an amatya or an officer of the last Haryanka ruler Nagadasaka. Not much is known about Shishunaga's life and childhood. The Buddhist accounts only say that he was a very efficient official of Magadh, who surely would have impressed the citizens through his hard work and honesty, and hence people chose him as their ruler and he rose to the pinnacle. By the time Shishunaga ascended to the throne, Magadh roughly corresponded to the present-day provinces of Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal and the countries of Bangladesh and Nepal. It had a very effective system of administration, good governance, a powerful army and a flourishing trade network. Shishunaga's reign, like that of his Magadhan predecessors, represents a stage in the history of the fast expansion of the Magadh Empire. He further strengthened the Magadhan army during his tenure, and his greatest military achievement, which even surpassed his predecessors, was to successfully fight the Avanti kingdom and vanquish them in the process. From Shishunaga's time, Avanti became a part of Magadh Empire and the Pradyota dynasty of Avanti ceased to exist. Shishunaga was succeeded by his son Kalasoka. In Puranas, he is mentioned as Kakarvarna, and in Sri Lankan text, he is mentioned as Kalasoka. The reign of Shishunaga's son Kalasoka is known chiefly for two important events. The meeting of the Second Buddhist Council, which took place under Kalasoka's rule in 383 BC at Vaishali, and the final transfer of the Magadhan capital to Patliputra, a fortified town developed once by Ajatashatru and then by his son Udaybhadra. It was a time of fast Magadhan expansion, and Kalasoka must have continued the existing system of administration and military with traditionally the four units of cavalry, chariots, infantry and elephants. The end of Shishunaga dynasty is obscure, as is much of the pre-Mauryan dynastic history of Magadh. According to one legend, Kalasoka had 10 sons who followed him, but the records are very obscure. They were said to have divided the kingdom amongst themselves instead of selecting one able brother to the throne. This considerably weakened the empire in the later years and a quick downfall followed. As per this legend, the last ruler of the Shishunaga was Mahanandin, who was the son of Nandivardhan, one of 10 sons of Kalasoka. Another legend says that Kalasoka himself was brutally murdered by a Shudra, a low caste man who usurped the throne and formed the Nanda dynasty. If this had indeed been true, it would not have been possible for his sons and his grandson Mahanandin to rule. Some of the Puranas also say that it was actually Mahanandin who was brutally murdered by a Shudra lover of his wife. That Shudra lover formed the dynasty of the Nandas and became its first ruler by the name Mahapadmananda. This is more likely to be true with Mahanandin as the last Shishunaga ruler. Another legend says that Mahapadmananda, who is also known as Ugrasena Nanda, was an illegitimate son of the last Shishunaga ruler Mahanandin. Whatever the truth is, it is now quite certain that around 345 BC, the Shishunaga dynasty came to an abrupt end. The Shishunaga dynasty contributed to the solid foundation of the Magadh Empire, which was to dominate the Indian subcontinent for the upcoming centuries. The Magadh Empire continued their support for Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivikaism, and other faiths under the Shishunagas. The second out of the 4 Buddhist councils took place in Vaishali during the rule of Kalasoka, who was the second ruler of Shishunaga dynasty. The Shishunaga dynasty ruled for a very short duration, and not much is known about them beyond Shishunaga himself, who rose through hard work, intelligence and honesty from the position of an officer in the empire to a ruler. But there is no doubt that the Shishunaga dynasty helped in the process of making Magadh the most powerful kingdom in the Indian subcontinent.